What's happening, people? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the upper tier. We have a little Shankly Sessions drive into work show for you today. We have a preview to do. Liverpool versus Wolves at Anfield at 3 o'clock. Huge game now coming up, obviously, with United beating Newcastle last night. And you know, Newcastle, before we get into the Liverpool game, Newcastle last night did everything to try and create something, but really Lamans had quite an easy night, didn't he? Kind of weird from Newcastle last night as well. Like, obviously Dorgu getting the goal for United. They had one or two other chances more on the transition and on the break, but Newcastle won't be happy with that last night. That would have been a real opportunity to pick up 3 points, but United stead to their game plan. Lissandro at the back there, captain of the team, fought for every ball. Heaven looked amazing. You know, they really fought for everything, won everything going into the box. And really, United were down to the bare bones there, really, when you think about it. Mason Mount going off at half-time as well. I assume it was either an injury or a precaution, but we'll know more today, I'd imagine. But running out, that's a big 3 points for United, in fairness. And I know they're at home against Newcastle and stuff like that. And I know, did they say last night, they haven't lost a Boxing Day fixture in 12 years or something like that, which is a phenomenal record. But Newcastle, yeah, in that final third, Valdemade was like invisible. And then I was saying they bringing on Joe Linton and Harvey Barnes and, you know, Willock and stuff like that. And I was thinking, should these guys not be starting? Should these guys not be the guys that are on the pitch? Now, I don't know whether it was precautionary, whether it was injury, whether there was fitness issues. I don't know what it was. Harvey Barnes came on, didn't do a whole lot. Joe Linton put himself about, as he always does. But I kind of find if that pivot there with himself and Bruno Guimaraes is any way off at all, it always looks a little bit disjointed, and they go into different kind of positions. And you know, I often find the best midfield in Newcastle is when you have Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes pivoting off each other, playing a lot closer. Last night they seemed much wider apart and stuff like that, depending on what positions Eddie put them into. But they seem to be lethargic, and they seem to take forever to get the ball into the box and move the ball around, and it was very easy for United to slip back into 2 banks of 4, ready for the break on the transition. And then the amount of balls coming into the box that were hitting the front man, and you know, really very little efforts. I think Schär had a chance, I think Valdemade had a chance, but I think out of about 20 odd shots or whatever it was, remember, I think it was about 60% or 60 odd percent possession as well, which is unbelievable at Old Trafford against Man United to have 60 odd percent possession, you know what I mean? But I just think with all that taken into account, I think of the 20 shots, what they got, had they 4 on target or something like that. I didn't look at the final stats, but I know towards the end of the game there was like 7 block shots and 7 shots off target and something like that. They were just way off it last night. And real concern for Eddie Howe now, because dropping opportunities like this, and I'm not saying trying to beat United at Old Trafford is easy, but if you were ever, this was a real good opportunity. Much changed side and all that kind of thing. So they dropped a bit of a clanger, and hats off to United who defended real well, took their opportunity when it came from Dorgu, and then defended stoutly their 1-0 lead. And that's all you can really do with a much changed side. But now you see Newcastle getting detached even from European spots now, and that would be a real concern for Newcastle, because they really need that Champions League money to allow them to progress, to dip into the Saudi money to progress on and stuff like that. But I digress anyway. But let's get into the Liverpool game anyway. It's going to be an interesting one. We heard the gaffer the other day talking about Chiesa has his own fitness program and stuff like that and all now, but I don't know what's going on there between Slot and Chiesa. And listen, I'm probably the last guy who would be batting for Federico Chiesa. You've seen my content. To me, it was bewildering that we even bothered signing him. Now, at times this season, he's come in, he's done a job, and it's been fruitful and stuff like that and all. But I said before on podcasts and stuff like that, I think probably way more fruitful for the last 20 minutes to half an hour of a game, where you can release him in there and he puts that bit of energy and puts himself about, as opposed to 90 minutes. I think in 90 minutes, kind of just gets lost in the games. But we'll see what kind of formation comes out today. Let me know the thoughts. What do you think of our predicted lineup and stuff like that? certainly we're carrying the war wounds of a Tottenham game and stuff like that, where obviously losing Isaac probably for the season, I would imagine, with the leg break plus the ligament damage in the ankle and stuff like that. I'd be surprised if we see him again this season. Obviously a lot of talk was around Semenyo, but obviously Semenyo looks like he's heading off to Man City, unless Chelsea or United come in and hijack him. We've detached ourselves totally from it at this stage, because I presume we got told, look, he's going to Man City, and we just said, okay, go ahead then, cool. We have been linked heavily with Barcola, so let me know your thoughts on that. How do you feel about Barcola coming in as opposed to Semenyo? What would be ideal for you? So let's see what happens there. But that's for really next month, you know. But up against the Wolves side at the moment, who have shown somewhat little sprinklings of improvement with Rob Edwards going in and stuff like that, but still way off it. And they look like they're playing as a team that's on the way down, don't they? I don't think there's any saving Wolves at this stage. I think Wolves are prepared for life in the Championship. And that's just the way it is. And I think once they get down in the Championship, I think they'll be very strong in the Championship, pending if they can hang on to their players. I think they lost players in the summer, and that's hurt them badly, and they got off to a really, really bad start. And the funny thing about it, Wolves, I think in their first, say, 5 or 6 games, they didn't play too bad. They just got really unlucky with kind of, you know, couple of last minute draws and stuff like that, and a couple of last minute winners that slipped by them and they dropped the points and stuff like that. They weren't actually playing that bad of football, you know, and just results just didn't go their way. And the problem that you have is, if you start out the season like that with 5, 6, 7 games and you're not putting points on the board, you find yourself then under pressure and you're in trouble, and you're looking over your shoulder and you're thinking, and that's where it creeps in, doesn't it? And then all of a sudden that escalates, and then all of a sudden you're beaten up and you feel like you're relegated, and you know, like we're just out of Christmas here now, and they're so detached from everyone else. And of course the teams above them have shown a little bit of form. West Ham have become steadier under Nuno. Forest under Dyche, for me, are a revelation. I didn't expect that at all. But yeah, so the only thing I preface that with is it just at times is like Liverpool, the cough up points at times to a team that's struggling around the Christmas period and stuff like that. So we need to go out today with the right attitude, and that's normally our problem at times when we play the likes of these teams that are on the way down. We go out with the wrong attitude and we think, well, Liverpool, we're just going to rock up and we're going to win, and more often than not we can come unstuck. So we need to go out with the right attitude today, bang a few goals, get it going, get it all calmed down, and play football and control the game and stuff like that. They do have dangerous players like the likes of Strand Larson and stuff like that, and that's what they need to be really careful about, because these are the kind of players that, you know, you can be in command of a game for 20-30 minutes, you can be so, you know, 90% possession, you know, you're creating chances but you're not taking them, and all of a sudden one little break or one little mistake and all of a sudden you're 1-0 down. And that's kind of been at times the story of our season. So I'd love to see a clean sheet today as well. Now we are on a bit of a run at the moment. I think we're 6 unbeaten now, or whatever it is, 7 unbeaten, whatever it is. And I was saying to Ben last night, normally 6 or 7 unbeaten, you would think you're showing a bit of form now and stuff like that, but the results and the way the games have gone, you look at the Spurs game even and the way it went and stuff like that, I don't feel like we've still turned that corner, do you? I don't feel like we're still emerging from a bad run. It feels like we're still in the height of it, and we're still having to work so much harder to achieve what we need to achieve. And that's my only concern as well, that we're still not as fluid as we could be. You know, I thought in the Spurs game, I thought the Isaac goal was a great goal that we put together, and then unfortunately the injury. But it'll be interesting to see what we do in the market now, where we go. Obviously losing him, and for me he's gone for the season. I think, because if you look at how long it takes him to get up to match fitness and stuff like that, even if he came back in March, he probably still wouldn't be ready to kick a ball come May. So we're going to have to plan for life without him. Obviously Mo was away, he's in the AFCON and stuff like that, doing really well over there. I think Egypt have already qualified after the 1-0 win yesterday. But what did you make, folks, of the penalty decision? I don't know. I suppose the fact that he was going down, you have to put your hand down, he was falling, you know what I mean? So But he was definitely on the line or inside the box and definitely handled the ball. So I don't know. It's why we love the AFCON and why we cover it, because sometimes there's some bewildering decisions and stuff like that and all, you know. Darren was telling me about a match the other day where the referee went to the monitor to check out a VAR decision, and the monitor was blank. It didn't work, like, you know. So it's part of why we love it, you know what I mean. It's you know, it's part of the draw for it. I know a lot of people don't cover the AFCON. I love covering the AFCON, and we will have an AFCON update one of the days. Might do one on Sunday tomorrow even, actually, because we'll be a week in at that stage and things will start to have set down. I think most of the groups will have played 2 games nearly at that stage, so we'll see what happens. We'll give a little AFCON update. But good to see Egypt progressing and Mo doing well as well, picking up the goal again yesterday. I'd like to see him do really, really well in the AFCON as well and come back a bit rejuvenated for the second half of the season, if we're assuming he's going to come back and there isn't a plan there. So let's see what happens. But as regards to this game, I'd like to see something like a 3 or 4-0 today, and that's no disrespect to Wolves, because I know Wolves, you know what I mean, we don't want to be doing that with any Premier League team. Sometimes when you predict these things, you look at them and then they come unstuck, you get beaten 2-1 or something. But I think we should be at least putting 3 or 4 past Wolves today, with the difference in the quality and stuff like that. And it'd be nice to see Florian Wirtz get a goal today now and just get that monkey off his back, as they say, you know what I mean, so he can just get going, you know. And I think once he gets one goal, I think he'll find that confidence. And I mean, again, against Spurs, he played really, really well. I think he picked up one of the Man of the Match awards. I'm not sure if the Standard Chartered or the Carlsberg one or whatever it was, but he was really, really good, and he was everywhere on the pitch. But at times a lot of his game is this little kind of tippy-tappy kind of stuff again, like what we spoke about Newcastle against United last night. That's a really good interchange and interplay and all, but really not producing a whole lot. And what we need to see is we need that production line in the final third, producing goals and producing assists. These little given goals and step overs and little things and stuff like that are all well and good, and they look lovely until some lad plows you out of it, and that's what happens more often than not in the Premier League, and it breaks down. Ekitike again, he should have a good game today. There should be a couple of goals in it for him as well. He's been really the shining light along with Dom, really, hasn't he, in terms of our signings. So really looking forward to seeing him playing today. But no doubt Rob Edwards will have them coached really, really well. He'll have them sat in. You know, they're not going to play expansive football. They're not going to open up and stuff like that, because they know if they do, it'll be a cricket score and stuff. So we will have to be maybe a little bit patient. But if we could open them up in the first 10 minutes and maybe put a goal on the board, that might settle us down. But I would expect us today, and again, no disrespect to Wolves or Wolves fans, I would expect us today to be very dominant and go out there, put on a professional performance, get the 3 points in the bag, maybe rack up a few goals as well to help our goal difference at the moment. You know, and catapult us again into that top 4 conversation and stuff like that. You know, that's really where we need to be. So let's see what happens. Let us know your predictions as well, folks. I'm thinking 3 or 4-0 today. Hope I'm not wrong, touch wood. I hope I'm not wrong, but I'm hoping for a 3 or a 4-0 today. Help the old goal difference, get a few goals on the board, maybe an El Van Dijk header as well, wouldn't go amiss. A couple of goals to make a TK, and maybe a Florian Wirtz. Let me know, Reds, am I asking too much? Am I asking too much here against a Wolves side that I think have 2 points all season, coming to Anfield the day after St. Stephen's Day? Let us know in the comments as well, folks. How did you feel about St. Stephen's Day? Literally no football on from the Premier League, bar United and Newcastle last night, 8 o'clock. So I resorted to watching Egypt and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it, I have to say. Yeah, so let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you're going line up, boys, and also let us know what's your prediction for the scoreline. And we'll give you a match reaction hopefully later on. Might even do a watch along. I'm gonna check out that Chelsea Aston Villa game. Looks pretty sweet. So we might do a watch along for that. We'll see. But in the meantime, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and of course, most important down there, drop that like on the video as well. Keep on pushing it out against that YouTube algorithm. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Have a great day. Cheers. Up the Reds.